Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at GrowFolds, and today we'll be local nursery plant shopping at Steve's Leaves out in Lewisville, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button as well as following me on my Instagram at GrowFolds. That is the fastest way and most direct way to get in touch with me. So plant foldies, and for those that are new to my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. I am so excited to finally get access to going into Steve's Leaves. I'm pretty sure that anybody who collects plants has bought from Steve's Leaves, whether it is a local pickup out in Lewisville, Texas, or if you've had Steve's Leaves shipped to you via mail. I'm super excited, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to go to this nursery. It was really exciting. I happened to get here on a Saturday, and I was able to film some of this nursery. This nursery is not really open to the public, so I was just really excited to finally be able to give a lot of our viewers and anybody who really loves Steve's Leaves to see where all of their plants are, to see what the facility looks like. And I did want to say special thanks to my friend Jordan, who happened to get me a connection to Steve's Leaves, as well as Brian, the operations manager, for really allowing me to film the nursery and what it is all about. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, I am just doing a walkthrough to this nursery. As you can see, they've got tons and tons of plants, hanging baskets, and some of these hanging baskets are mother plants. You can see right over here, we've got an Epipremnum pinnatum marble. Love that. Look at that beautiful variegation and the fenestrations already. And I will say that just as a disclaimer, a lot of these plants, I may not be able to get the full plant ID. So if I mislabel a plant or I don't get the right plant ID, please give me a little bit of grace. I was just so overwhelmed that I was able to just walk around this nursery freely. I am honored to be able to give a lot of our viewers, whether it's a plant foldie or somebody who really loves Steve's Leaves, a glimpse of this this nursery. I know it's a little bit elusive to the general public, but today I'm just going to go around and show you what the facility looks like. You can see they've got several monstera albos. They've got hanging baskets of Triscanthia right here, and they've got a lot of the plant IDs. So I happened to actually make it into this nursery on a day where it was actually Friday, where they were actually doing plant propagations. You can see right here, this is a Syngonium albo. It could be one of their mother plants. What a lot of folks don't know is Steve's Leaves specializes in many plants, and some people will say that they are really known for the begonias, but honestly, they are known for just any type of plant you can possibly think of. And you can see even right over here, this is a monstera aurea. Now, if you haven't ever bought from Steve's Leaves, I will tell you, I've been purchasing plants from Steve's Leaves for about 5 years. Ever since I moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I happened to get some Steve's Leaves plants. They are pretty readily available on their website. So if you ever want to buy plants that you're seeing in this video tour, please go to stevesleaves.com. They have some really healthy plants, a really big selection. And for the more rare and uncommon plants, like for instance, these monstera albos, they have weekly auctions that you can participate in. Here we've got like a Syngonium frosted ice. This is a variegated Chia Pens Syngonium, and I really love that as well. And you can just see right here, plant foldies, they've just got lots and lots of hanging baskets. But as far as Steve's Leaves, this nursery has existed for quite a while, so they're a very reputable nursery. They've got so many different types of plants, and you can see this section of this nursery, they've got lots of propagations in progress. You can see that they definitely have quite a bit of begonias, and I will say that Steve's Leaves does have a reputation for having some amazing begonias. They have a lot of their own hybrids that are created within house. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go through each and every one of them because I only had a limited time. I was actually hoping to film a little bit more, but I had a lot of other things I was doing that same day. But I am still excited that this will be a pretty comprehensive nursery tour, and hopefully I will be able to come back to this nursery and film their facility. I mean, you can see right here, this I believe is a begonia looking glass. It's one of my favorite begonias. It's an angel wing begonia, but as you can see here, all of these begonias are still in the propagation process. They have a very extensive way of taking care of their plants and really just growing them in-house. All of the plants you see on Steve's Leaves are propagated with in-house, which I really love, just because when it comes down to it, you always want to support local businesses. And even though they are widely known throughout the plant community, it's still nice to see that from just going into their nursery, that this is really the process of getting a lot of these plants into your homes, whether it's through getting them through the mail or being able to do a local pickup. Again, this nursery is not open to the public, at least to be able to visit. So you can already tell Plant Foldies that I am just so excited. And you can see right here, these are antheriums. And I will say that antheriums are really starting to get me really excited and probably growing an obsession about antheriums. You can see how beautiful the foliage is. A lot of people will say that antheriums are a little bit more challenging of a plant. I can agree to a certain extent, especially if you're not able to give them the humidity levels that they have. But for me, ever since I've been able to grow my antheriums in semi-hydroponic substrates such as pon or leca, they have become a lot easier for me. But as you can see right here, look at that dark foliage on this antherium. Now, unfortunately, I will not be able to label all of these antheriums because, again, I didn't really want to handle a lot of the plants here. I wanted to be really respectful with this facility. So a lot of the times, whenever I go to like a big box store and film the plants, I will pick up the plants. I will pick up a couple of the plants, but I was just too nervous to like mess up anything here. But you can see right here, this is an anthurium, super silver cross with Michelle. Look at that variegation on this anthurium. And Ryan, who happens to be the operations manager, has actually been able to hybridize a couple of their anthuriums as well as some of their begonias. And so I'll be able to feature a couple of them. Anthuriums in general, I mean, it is literally a whole new world of plant love that I really didn't see, because as I do a lot of my plant content, you already know, Plant Foldies, that I really feature a lot of big box store plants. Anthuriums are not really common in terms of going to a big box store. They're mostly available only at through local nurseries. Right here is an anthurium, Prince of Darkness, and this is one of Ryan's hybrids. I really love that. And as far as the parentage, I wish I would have taken notes to really discuss what the parentage is of this anthurium, but look at how beautiful the dark velvety texture is. And then you can see right over here, here is another anthurium of his that he was able to hybridize. This one is also a beautiful one. And if you really look closely at the veining of the leaves, you can see that it almost looks like a spider. So absolutely stunning plant. This one is an anthurium, Amelia's Delight. You can see the plant ID here, and they have some tags right here. I'm not sure what the POD means. Maybe it's production of when the date was when they actually got the plant. So don't quote me on that, but I did see quite a bit of tags over here. So Plant Foldies, I do want to know in the comments section, if you've ever bought plants from Steve's Leaves, whether you've ordered from them or if you've ever done a local plant pickup. Again, I am just so excited that I was finally able to get some access to just being able to freely walk through this nursery. It is super full. They've got a lot of plants. And when I asked if I could film throughout, they did say that I can pretty much freely film throughout. But again, I just wanted to make sure that I was sensitive to some of their operations. So I will do my best to at least get a pretty good glimpse of what their greenhouse looks like. You can see right over here, they just have so many anthuriums. And for those that actually grow anthuriums, please leave in the comments section what anthuriums you like. What do you like about anthuriums if you've ever purchased from Steve's Leaves? As I have become even a bigger fan of Steve's Leaves, not only because they were able to get me into this nursery, but truthfully just being able to see their plants in production, the amount of work it is really placed into producing these plants, the customer service you receive from them, and they were just very hospitable. Really love the staff. Again, I was able to really see them when I went to PlantCon 2024 out in Dallas, and I'm super excited because I will be seeing Ryan and my friend Jordan out at the Texas Aroids show. So for those that haven't bought tickets to the Texas Aroids show out in Houston, Texas, October 26th, please do so. Please check out the Steve's Leaves booth. But you can see how massive this nursery is. As I do more plant shopping videos, more plant content, I hope to be able to travel travel to many different nurseries and be able to just freely walk through their facilities just so you can see what it really looks like as far as the plants. Like right over here, look at this gorgeous anthurium here. This is another one where I think the reason why I really like the anthuriums is, again, anthuriums, they have a very interesting foliage leaf, and then just the very minute details on whether it looks like a spear, a heart-shaped leaf, the veining of the leaves, whether it's velvety, whether it's variegated. There's just so much going on with anthuriums. For me, if you're able to get anthuriums to grow in a substrate that is either chunky or semi hydroponics, I would just tell you that that's probably going to be the best. Now, whenever I ask what the humidity levels look like for Steve's Leaves greenhouse, they did mention something around the range of like 65 to 70% humidity. When I did visit there, it didn't feel as humid. Maybe it's because it has been a little bit cooler out in Texas, thankfully, but it was a really comfortable level. I mean, you can see right here, look at this variegated anthurium. And again, Ryan really does take care of a lot of these anthuriums himself. I don't know if these are some of the mother plants or if they're being in production for seeds, but the whole process of hybridizing plants, specifically anthuriums, really fascinates me. I don't know if I would be able to delve into that someday, but I will say I have been buying quite a bit of anthuriums, really converting them into semi-hydroponics because I have really unlocked the key of being able to successfully grow them. I feel like the maintenance and care whenever you grow an anthurium, per se, in like leca or pond, has really made it easy for me. And the fact that I have my own plant room where I'm able to control my humidity levels, it stays between 65 to 70. It has really helped maintain the beautiful leaves of an anthurium, because in the past, whenever I've grown anthuriums in, say, like a chunky soil mix, it didn't grow as well for me. But I've noticed my anthuriums, when they're in like semi-hydroponic substrates, they've been able to grow in a just a more stable setting. Now over here, you can see that this has some beautiful anthuriums. And again, for those that are watching, whether you are a regular plant foldie or somebody who has discovered my channel, again, I am not an expert when it comes to some of these plant IDs. Really, a lot of the purpose of this video is to really just give anybody who has ever been really curious what Steve's Leaves facility looks like. I will tell you that there is just a lot of work that is placed into it. But you know what? That is the reason why I am a fan of their plant nursery, because not only is this a production of plants, but a lot of the plants are really in production because there is a lot of love and care put into the plants. I mean, you can see that all of these plants are super healthy. There are just so many varieties of plants. You can see that these anthuriums, for instance, they have some seeds right there. That whole process, I hope that I'll be able to learn a little bit more. So if you have any insights for those that are watching that love to grow anthuriums, please leave in the comment section what your anthurium care tips are, because as you can see right here, Steve's Leaves, they've got a lot of anthuriums. And what's really interesting is a lot of these plants that Steve's Leaves has, according to, when I talk to the staff, a lot of these plants were acquired through either trade or some type of just trade, or just getting these plants in general. A lot of these plants are not really imported, which I found really interesting, whether it's just through trades and then they were able to just grow a lot of these plants in-house. Obviously, Steve's Leaves has existed for quite a while, so they are definitely experts in the plant plant production, and just being able to like walk around and really see these massive anthuriums. It's just really exciting because I'm still learning. I've done a lot of, plant content, and you already know plant foldies. A lot of my plant content is really just on the whim, if you were to, say the least. I don't really have a storyboard, much less a script. I just really want to tell you my initial responses and my initial insights as I walk through this nursery. I mean, look at this right over here. Look at those seeds and just look at how beautiful these plants are. And even though I didn't have nearly as much time as I wanted to spend at Steve's Leaves, and number one, it's because I wanted to be really respectful to those that were working. They were really working diligently in getting their plant propagations potted up. But then number two, there is just a level of just not being in people's way. But as you can see right here, plant folies, again, you can see that this is some type of variegated anthurium. I wish I was able to really get a lot of the plant IDs. They did have a lot of their plant IDs tagged. I just so happened to not really dig in through them. Again, it was more of me just filming through the tables, through the aisles of different types of plants. So I'm just going to keep panning around here and showing you their beautiful anthurium.
The mirror where your light once reflected all of the love from up above. We used to feel like a glove.
Here's another glimpse of the operations manager, Ryan's anthurium right there. I believe that might be the Prince of Darkness. Not 100% sure, but look at how beautiful that anthurium is. And as I pan away, you can see that they've got some more variegated, and maybe this is an anthurium, not 100% sure, but you can see right here that they have even more plants. And when you spin around, even more anthuriums. And like I said, again, this is, if you walk Steve's Leaves, if you ever get the opportunity to either tour the facility or walk around Steve's Leaves, you will really feel that jungle vibe, that jungle paradise. And it would just really, I think when I was here, I was really overstimulated by the amount of plants that I've seen. Like you can see right over here, they've got some hanging baskets of Hoya undulatas. I think that's how you pronounce it. Look at that beautiful splashy leaf texture on that. And you can see they have several hanging baskets. Again, if you've never bought from Steve's Leaves, definitely go to stevesleaves.com. You can definitely purchase a lot of plants. A lot of their plants are definitely very cost effective, priced well. And there's just so many plants that you may not have ever heard of or seen. And I'm going to feature a couple of those plants. Some people will say that they're not as rare or uncommon, but that's one that some of these plants are plants that whether they're rare or uncommon, I just find some of their characteristics really interesting. Like look at this beautiful Hoya linearis, beautiful Hoya. That's another Hoya that you don't really see out at big box stores. And I just love the fact that they have full hanging baskets of them. And then you can see right here, look at how beautiful that dark foliage anthurium is. Again, plant foliage, I just really wish I was able to get a lot of the plant IDs for anthuriums, but my only concern was if I'm going to throw out a plant ID, especially for a Steve's Leaves nursery tour, I do not want to mislabel these plants because again, this is a highly known nursery. And so I'm only hoping that you guys will at least enjoy my efforts to be able to at least show you the inside of the facility. Again, I am just so thankful that I was able to go through this facility and walk through. And this is just a little small portion of just the anthuriums that they have available here. I really try to take time to at least show you what anthuriums they had. Most of these are going to be the mother plants, but again, if you are wanting to purchase anthuriums from Steve's Leaves, you can definitely do so if you check their website. I would say if you really want to buy a lot of Steve's Leaves plants, definitely go to the Texas Aroids show out in Houston, Texas. They will be showing there alongside with Wild Roots Nursery, which is where they do a lot of their trading for some of their pollen and cross-pollination with their anthuriums. I believe they're really good friends with Brian out at Wild Roots Nursery, which is another nursery out in New Braunfels, Texas, that I hope someday I'll be able to tour and possibly get some film for you just to show you their nursery. But as you can see right here, they've got some Syngoniums right over here, lots of mother plants that they propagate from. They've got a bunch of string of turtles and just many plants that every time you turn around, you are just shocked at what beautiful plants that you're going to be surrounded by. I mean, you can see that this table has a lot of peperomias. For instance, this is a peperomia clucifolia. I believe that's what it is. Really love the dark margins on the leaves, and it's just a dark foliage peperomia. And then you can see over here, we've got a peperomia velutina. I think that's how you pronounce it. And you can see this one is a pretty established one. And again, if you were able to take a look at some of Steve's Leaves pricing on the website, you can see that they have really cost-effective pricing. You can definitely, get plants sent to you directly to your home. So obviously, if you're not out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where they're based at, North Dallas, you are able to order plants on stevesleaves.com. Highly recommend it. I've been buying plants for them for several years, and today, as I film this nursery, I was just super excited to see the plants that I may have just done a local pickup for, or sometimes I've seen Steve's Leaves plants at a local nursery out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I remember even seeing some Steve's Leaves plants out at Home Depot at a big box store, and it's just really exciting to see that this is really the plant production. This is where all the magic happens, and there was just a lot of magic whenever I visited this facility. And you can see right here, plant foliage, variegated peperomia watermelon. I was able to actually get one of these plants from another local plant shop called Peta's Planters. If you haven't shopped that plant shop, definitely check it out in Dallas. But as you can see right here, beautiful variegated peperomia watermelon. This actually has a lot of high variegation. And the thing about it is, well, with a lot of these peperomias, they are plants that I would highly recommend as far as like a beginner plant. They're pretty easy to take care of. The majority of them would love to just water whenever the soil is either completely dry or about 60 to 70% dry. And for the most part, you will do well with them. Now, as far as Hoyas, now this is another type of Hoya right over here in a hanging basket. And what I do love is the fact that they have many different sizes of hanging baskets of plants. You can see right over here, they've got some variegated string of hearts, which we will look at a little bit more in detail later. And you can see they've got several monstera albos. They literally have a full forest, jungle, whatever you want to call it, of monstera albos. And if you check out their website, they always have those on auction. And you can see right here, variegated string of hearts. And when you talk about comparing the variegated string of hearts that you find at Steve's Leaves, their variegated string of hearts are highly variegated, super healthy. And, you know, if you're able to buy them from the website, again, I would definitely recommend that. And then you can see right here, they've got the purple passion plant. And, you know, this is another plant that you will see typically at a big box store like Walmart, Home Depot, or Lowe's. It was a Costa Farms release, but you can see that Steve's Leaves has this. And then we've got some Abutilon variegatum, which is a really beautiful plant. Look at that beautiful variegation. It does have some gorgeous bell-shaped flowers that populate, and I really like that as well. And then we have some Fascifolia trifasciata, and this is super cool as well. So when you talk about plants that you don't really see, whether it's a rare plant, I would just say common, uncommon plants that are common. I wouldn't say that this is definitely a common plant, but this is a plant that you don't really see a lot of in even local plant nurseries. So that's why you will always get some really good plant discoveries at Steve's Leaves. And as I pan around here, you can even see right here, beautiful Calisa repens variegata. Really like that as well. It's very similar to a Tradescantia, except it's just got smaller foliage. I love that albo or variegated form. And I believe these are oak ivies that they have, whether these are, I believe maybe these are mother plants here. They have like 3 different sections of the nursery. And so I'm just kind of like randomly walking through and showing you guys these plants. Again, plant foldies. If you've made it this far and love Steve's Leaves, and if you want to see more content like this, definitely hit the like button. It definitely will push this video out to more plant lovers like yourself. And obviously leaving comments about the plants you've seen today. Now, you already know plant foldies. I love Coleus plants. So this is a Coleus Anna, some type of hybrid. Look at the variegation on the leaves. Really like the look of that. And again, with Coleus plants, they are able to grow indoors long term. They're very thirsty plants, so you got to just make sure that you are consistently watering Coleus plants. But that Coleus Anna, that's going to be another plant that I definitely want to add to my collection. If you've been watching my videos for the last 10 months or so, you already know I have a Coleus obsession. Honestly, I just have plant obsessions everywhere, and you can see why. Like the fact that I feel very much fortunate and lucky to be able to go to Steve's Leaves. For instance, this is a local nursery, which is about a 20-minute drive from where I am based at, which is out in North Dallas. And just to be able to see this, this is actually one of the first big nurseries I've been able to just freely walk through and tour. And again, I just want to keep saying thank you. Thank you to Ryan. Thank you to the Steve's Leaves staff for allowing me to just freely roam around and take a look at the plants. Like this one right here, I've never seen this plant in production, but when you look at that foliage, it's so beautiful. And like I can't really pronounce this this plant, but if you look closely, this is another plant that I want to add to my collection because look at the splashy color of the leaves. I love the texture of the leaves, and then it has some very dainty, if you want to call it demure blooms on that. I really love that lavender bloom that it has, and that's another plant that you wouldn't really find. And then I ended up getting one of these plants when I went and filmed this. You already know I love neon color plants, very, yellow plants. And even though some people would say that this is not really an expensive plant, it is a plant that I find unique and interesting. And that's why whenever you think about Steve's leaves, you really will see a lot of different types of foliage and leaves. Just the amount of diversity of plants that they have, the amount of plants that they continue to churn and have available for plant lovers, it's just amazing. But that is a plant that I don't really see often, and I was really glad I was able to pick that up. You can see that is a plant ID. These are plant IDs that I can't really pronounce, so I'm not going to butcher that plant ID today. But like even here, this Earcene rose, I know that my plant foldy subscriber Rose, she really loves that red color, and then you can see how gorgeous this color is. I mean, take a look at that. But take a look at that Cissus discolor silver form. I've never seen this. And again, I just love that it has that very silver look around it. And then you can see the veinings and just the very nuances of that particular foliage. It's absolutely stunning. And then I'm just going to spin around here again, plant foldies, and look at some of these plants that are not really commonly found. And you can see right here, I'm just going to show you this plant ID. Again, I don't really want to try to butcher these plant names, but you can see that. Look at that gorgeous variegation, and all of these plants that I'm featuring are available on Steve's Leaves. Some of them may be out of stock on the website, and it's because they want to make sure that they have the levels of plants available before you're able to order them online. This is one that I definitely picked up when I visited. This is a Graptophyllum pictum, and while it's not one of those like super rare or uncommon plants, to me it is an uncommon plant because it's a plant that you don't typically see even at a local nursery. Definitely not at a big box store, but it is a beautiful plant. As it matures, the stems get a little bit more woody, and then also the foliage of the leaves, you'll get more of that orange color, and even white will start to populate. And then this is a Graptophyllum pictum Black Beauty. This is another plant that I ended up picking up at Steve's Leaves when I visited, just because I do love that dark foliage of the plants. Graptophyllum pictum is more considered a tropical shrub, and they grow out in very humid environments, but that is a plant that you can take care of indoors. You just have to make sure that number one, you give them the right watering, which means they don't really like to dry out completely. So you want to make sure you stay on top of the watering. And then you can see that is another plant that I've not seen, and that was a plant that I did regret not purchasing or getting at Steve's Leaves. But as you can see right over here, there's just many plants that are hanging, vining, trailing, and they just have tables and tables of different types of plants. You can see they've got some vanilla plants right over here, and then I'm going to walk over here and show you, for those that love Hoyas, they've got several different types of Hoyas right here. You can see this is a Hoya carrii reverse variegation. Love that. I was able to acquire one of those most recently, and then you can just see right over here they've got even some Dischidias right over here. Now I don't have Dischidias in my plant collection, but it would be one that I eventually want to add to my plant collection. Again, when it comes to plants, I have just been a little bit more I would say intentional with the plants that I bring into my collection. There has to be a draw for me, because as we've discussed in a lot of the plant shopping videos I do, you want to make sure that whenever you buy a plant, for instance, from Steve's Leaves, you want to make sure that you have the right growing conditions for the plant, so that way you don't send these plants to plant heaven. The most frustrating part is when you buy something like this. Like, look at how gorgeous this Hoya Aliona is. The last thing you want to do is not set up the plant for success. So whether it's you have enough time to water the plants, to make sure you inspect the plants for any plant pests, to give it the right lighting conditions, to give it the right humidity levels, and to allow yourself to actually just sit back and enjoy looking at the plants. And that's the thing for me whenever I went to Steve's Leaves, just being able to walk around and really just look and admire and soak in all of this gorgeous plant foliage, and just everything around this facility was just really a really fun time. I mean, you can see here that is some type of Piper plant, and everywhere you turn, there are just so many different types of plants. Like you can literally get yourself lost in this plant nursery. I will say I can't really pan away, but this nursery was super organized. You can see that they just have tables and tables of plants. Like literally, if you were to be able to get access to go into this nursery, you will understand what I mean about just going to another table. Like this table right here has a bunch of Syngonium. So you can see we've got some Syngonium albos, and I will tell you, I can't really give you all the plant pricing for Steve's Leaves plants. Like I really should have gotten this Syngonium Christmas. That is another Syngonium that you don't really see in production, or at least see at a lot of local nurseries or big box stores for that matter. And then you can even see right here this Syngonium Strawberry Ice. Really love that. You know, with Syngonium Strawberry Ice, you really want to look for some really good variegation to start, because the initial genetics is really what gives that beautiful variegation. But again, even with Strawberry Ice, if you've got the darker chocolate foliage, it's still stunning. But to go back to the plant pricing for Steve's Leaves, if you're curious to see some of these plants, what I would suggest is just going to the website and really just doing a search for some of the plants I might feature, and you'll see that you'll get the plant pricing, because I don't have all of the plant pricing tagged on here. I just have some of the plant IDs. But Spathiphyllum wallacei, variegated. So this is a variegated peace lily. That is another plant that I'm hoping that I will end up being able to get or acquire from Steve's Leaves someday. Even after visiting the facility, I am even more inspired to spend money and buy plants from Steve's Leaves. So again, for those that are watching this video, highly recommend Steve's Leaves. I would hope that if you love Steve's Leaves and you have like social media or any type of like plant groups, I would hope that maybe you would take the time to share this video, because I don't really see a lot of YouTube videos that really have granted access to just being able to walk through Steve's Leaves. And for me, I feel like it's important for everybody to really see the magic behind all of those plants that we will either find through mail order, or even going to like plant shows like the Texas Aroids show or Plant Con. So as you can see right here, again, the massive amount of Syngoniums that they have. Again, with Syngoniums, super easy. And this is a Syngonium I've never heard of, and I'm hoping that they'll have these available. This is a Syngonium oregano. Really interesting variegation on the Syngonium. Like seriously, I've never seen that Syngonium, and I'm hoping that I can purchase this from Steve's Leaves. I don't know if they have this available on the website, but you can see that it's got some green speckling on the leaves, and it's a different type of variegation. The thing about Syngoniums is, no matter what, Syngoniums pretty much share the same care tips. Maybe some Syngoniums are a little bit more susceptible to being in more humid environments to do well, but for the most part, again, they're very easy to take care of. Now, this is another plant that I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, but that is another plant that I've never heard of, but would love to do it. Now, we're going to look at some of these begonias. So this is a Steve's Leaves Begonia Valentine Swirl. I wasn't able to get every single plant ID on these begonias. Like literally, I could go back someday, maybe if I'm able to get back here, to where I could just feature all of the Steve's Leaves begonias, because they had so many different baskets of mother plants available. And again, if you've been watching, other YouTubers or those that have featured Steve's Leaves, you already know Steve's Leaves is one of the premier nurseries to really introduce a lot of these beautiful begonias. They have different types of begonias. They've got Rex begonias, they got what they call rhizome begonias, and obviously the angel wing begonias, which is for me the easiest type of begonia to grow. Like my grandmother loves angel wing begonias, but she can pretty much grow any type of begonia. You can see right here, variegated monstera adansonii. So you can see they've got, that Syngonium aurea. They've got a lot of philodendron. They've got different types of begonias. I mean, look at this, begonia purple curl. I'm hoping that I'm getting the plant IDs correct. I just had to zoom in as I was actually editing this video to try to get some of these plants. But as you can see right here, plant foliage, you can see they've got different types of philodendron pink princess. It is literally a forest over here, a jungle, whatever you want to call it. Begonia Black Beauty. Like this is another begonia that will really draw you in. And I wish we could see more Steve's Leaves plants more readily available, especially at some of the big box stores. And I get it. My thing about it is, if they're gonna have these plants at a big box store, after seeing the amount of time it takes to propagate the plants to make sure that they're viable and super healthy to actually get out for the consumer, it just makes me a little bit disappointed in sometimes, you know, seeing a big box store plant and you know that they're super lush, they're super full, but the amount of effort it took to grow the plant, whether it was a couple of months or years to really get the numbers, it just is sometimes disheartening. And, you know, I don't want to put that negative vibe about big box stores and what that process looks like, but that's the reason why I always say, if you love the plant, definitely buy it. But if you really want to get some healthy plants, shop local, shop Steve's Leaves, because again, look at this begonia swallowtail and all of these different types of begonias. They're readily available, and as I do a walkthrough through Steve's Leaves, you will see that their production to get these plants, it really is a process. It is a labor of love, but it's a love for a lot of us who loves plants. You can definitely rely on Steve's Leaves Nursery to be able to get you some really good plants. And I've seen a lot of unboxings in the past from other YouTubers and plant content creators. I just hope that, you know, me being able to walk through and talk to you about these begonias and different types of plants from Steve's Leaves really inspires you to go to stevesleaves.com and check it out. And I will say, they did not sponsor me to do this video. I just happened to be able to, get that honor to just be able to check out this nursery and just be able to show a lot of our viewers, especially those that have always been curious to see the nursery. Our local plant foldies may not have been able to get in here. You know, I haven't really been able to, or even thought about being able to go in and walk through Steve's Leaves. And I've lived in the North Dallas area for a couple years now. But anyways, going back to the begonias, as you can see right over here, they really are known for their begonias. And what I do love about begonias, especially seeing the different varieties, is again the nuances in the leaf texture, the leaf shape, the color, the veining of the leaf, even the stem color, and even the texture on the stems. It's just so many nuances on plants. And for me, as we continue to grow together, grow our plants, and really just admire and grow our love for plants, I think what makes it even more exciting to be part of a plant community is to be able to really celebrate all of these different types of plants and the foliage. I mean, if you walk around here, check a look at this. Plant foldies, as I pan around Steve's Leaves, let me know in the comments what you think so far of the plants and what you think of the nursery. Again, it is just amazing to be here. I mean, you can see right there, that is a Syngonium starlight. And then we have some more Syngoniums right here. That green on green variegation is beautiful. You can see we've got even more Syngoniums, more Syndapsis, and just plants everywhere. Like wherever you turn around, the table is just full of mini plants. And they're continuing to just increase their numbers by the day. I happened to go during the time where they were actually potting up some more propagations. And I happened to be able to go through some of the cycles where, like right here, they've got so many variegated peperomia watermelon. And, again, as far as peperomias, like a peperomia watermelon, the non-variegated form is already beautiful, but even the variegated form, there is just such a cool allure about it. And they have the numbers to be able to sell that to the general public. And then again, right here, we've got a begonia micro mo, I think that's what it's called. And then you can see right over here, even more begonias. Like literally, I wasn't even able to go through each and every single one of these begonias, but as you can see right here, this begonia reggae, beautiful begonia. And you can even see that every single begonia, if you were to really take the time to look at it, some of them had more metallic shine to them, some of them had pink, some of them were super dark, some of them were fuzzy. just lots of different types of begonias that you can find at Steve's Leaves. And again, Steve's Leaves is really known for begonias in just a hybridization process. And you could just see that they have massive, large plants, mother plants, plants that you can purchase. Like, look at this philodendron bellitiae. And I just remember when philodendron bellitiae was super expensive about 4 to 5 years ago. Now they're a little bit more readily available. And that's the thing I love about nurseries like Steve's Leaves, where they are able to get more accessibility to plant lovers to be able to get to access to these plants. I mean, you can see here plant foldies. We've got a very uncommon Syngonium scrambled eggs, or what you call a Syngonium variegated Wellandii, beautiful plant. Now that is a plant that needs to be a little bit more in humid environments. I think anytime there's a plant that has more velvety textured foliage, they really require a little bit more humidity. They're a little bit more spider mite prone, so that's just something I would recommend. But as I pan around here, I'm just going to keep walking around and showing you all of the different types of begonias that they have and just different types of plants. I wish I was able to give you all of the plant pricing, because again, some of these plants, especially these begonias that are hanging, I believe these are a lot of their mother plants that they, make propagations from. And unfortunately, again, plant foldies, I do apologize that I wasn't able to get all of the plant IDs. If I'm able to come back, I'm going to do a little bit more in detail. But my intent was really just to get everybody a glimpse and access to this actual nursery, just to be able to see what it looks like inside Steve's Leaves. And you can see right here, it is highly impressive. Like all of this is a table of Especia, or what you would call flame violets. You can see that the blooms are red, which is really cool. But what I found really interesting, and you already know plant foldies, this Especia pink smoke. I've never seen such a pink Especia or flame violet. That is another plant that if they have that available on their website, I hope to be able to acquire that, because I love pink foliage plants, and this is a plant you definitely are not going to be able to find at a local nursery or a big box store. But at Steve's Leaves, when they have that available, definitely purchase that. And then that's the thing about Steve's Leaves, is they have a lot of plants that are uncommon, in a sense that we just don't really see them in production nearly as much. They may not be as rare or something of that nature, but at the same time, they're rare because you don't really find them in the trade. But again, if you're able to go to Steve's Leaves, I really highly recommend you guys just checking it out and seeing their selection of plants. You can see what plants are in stock, but even what plants that they have either growing or getting ready. And you can see right here, Stramanthe Triostar, what a beautiful specimen. And you can see that there is no cosmetic damage to this plant. Now, as far as the, Stramanthes, they are a little bit more finicky of a plant. You want to make sure that you give them good humidity and make sure that their soil remains a little bit more on the wetter side. And then this one is a Begonia brevirimosa, the red form, and that's even a more uncommon or rare form. Unfortunately, as beautiful as this begonia is, it is one of the more challenging begonias to grow long term, because it is a begonia that requires a little bit more humidity. Otherwise, the leaves start to brown up and crisp on the edges. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to label this as a philodendron gloriosum. If it is not, please leave in the comments, give me a correction of it. But look at how gorgeous the leaves are. I really love the veining as well. And you can see right here, they've got several different types of Tradescanthia. And again, this one is like the tricolor Tradescanthia. I don't know the plant ID. And you can see that they've got, I believe, the purple heart plant, and then they've got a variegated purple heart plant over there as well. I have the variegated purple heart plant, and while some people don't really just grow them, I love growing them because they have a unique texture to the leaves, and I definitely love the striking elegance of that purple. But let's keep walking over here, plant foldies, and just really looking at all of the begonias they have. I think when I was walking through, I was really mesmerized by the begonias and the amount of hanging basket plants. I mean, you can see right here, this is a Tradescanthia you don't really see out at a local nursery or a big box store. And even though you'll see this particular purple heart variegated form, maybe say at like a big box store like Lowe's, I don't see them in gorgeous hanging baskets like this that you would find at Steve's Leaves. So if they do have these hanging baskets for sale, that would be something I wouldn't mind investing in, just because, as you can see, their plants are just healthy. They're pest free. They are grown with a lot of love and a lot of care. And if you really do just go through the website, you'll be able to see that their plant pricing is super cost effective. So I'm going to keep just walking around and showing you all of these different plants. Again, please leave as many comments about your insights about Steve's Leaves, what plants you bought from Steve's Leaves, what do you love about Steve's Leaves, and definitely getting the word out and really just sharing this video so more people will be able to see what Steve's Leaves looks like. Now, even with the variegated Monstera aurea, there are some browning on the leaves, but in general, Monstera aureas are very challenging to grow and keep their variegation. Their variegation tends to brown up or crisp up. Even when you actually water the plants with silica, a lot of times people will say if you want to preserve the variegation of a particular plant, just water it with silica. I do agree with that because I use a silica solution that I bought on Amazon called Protect, which also has some Super Thrive mixed into it and has really worked well for me. But anyways, going back to the plants, and you can see there, as I'm even doing this voiceover and just walking around and giving you my insights and commentary, just being in person, like definitely my video is not going to do near any justice to really show you how impressive and massive Steve's Leaves Nursery is. But again, I hope that at least it gives you a little bit of a preview or a look of what a reputable, very highly recommended plant nursery is in their plant production. Like this right here, this Polea Cadire variegata, or a variegated aluminum plant. This is another one that I would love to be able to get a hold of. And the thing about it is, this is an easy care plant, even though it is a variegated form. It is a plant though that you need to make sure you stay on top of the watering. And so for me, just like a lot of these begonias that we're seeing at Steve's Leaves, it is all about making sure you have the right routines to keep these plants alive. You can see right over here, we've got some type of hibiscus as well. I really love the dark foliage and even the serrated leaves. And then I don't have the plant ID for this, but this is really interesting because it does have that variegation, but you can see that that leaf is also curling, which is really interesting. And again, even more begonias. I think if you are a begonia collector, a begonia lover, Steve's Leaves Nursery has to be part of your bucket list of nurseries to maybe someday be able to check out. I know that they do offer nursery tours. You're gonna just have to check the website on that. But as I pan around here, I can see why this is one of those like hidden, exclusive urban jungles, if you were to say, because of all of the plants. Like look at this Rex begonia right here. I think it's a Rex begonia, but if you look at the minute details, the leaves have that fuzzy fur around it, the dark metallic look. That's the thing about begonias. Like I really want to, I love begonias. I just need begonias to love me. And have you ever seen a salvia variegata or a variegated salvia? That is a plant that you will typically see at a big box store, but definitely not the variegated form. Like look at that aurea yellow tone on the leaves right next to a purple shield. So when you think about like the color wheel, purple and yellow are complementary colors. They're on the opposite sides of the color wheel. So when you put them together, they really have high contrast. And I think that that's really cool. And if you saw, I did pan into a Dracaena, Janet Craig compacta. If you watch my videos, especially big box store videos, you already know that is an easy to care for plant. And it is a plant that as it matures, it's really beautiful, easy to care, would recommend it. Now we've got some Hoya macrophylla variegatas here. We've got some more hanging baskets. And then I'm just gonna keep panning around and showing you even more plants. You can see that they've got some Syngoniums. And then I believe these are Irisane plants. Irisane plants, I think that's how you pronounce it. But I believe these are the mother plants right over here. Now, as far as the plant IDs, again, I don't have those plant IDs, so I don't want to mislabel the plants. But as I pan away here, lots of hanging baskets, lots of mother plants, lots of plants in production. Like I wish I knew the plant ID for this. So plant foldies, or if anybody watching this video, leave in the comments with a timestamp what that plant ID is. But as you can see, if you are a Hoya lover, you can definitely get a lot of different types of Hoyas at Steve's Leaves. I know that there is a lot of Hoya heads that watch my plant shopping videos. For me, whenever I think of Steve's Leaves, the first thought is Steve's Leaves begonias, but I didn't even realize that the amount of Hoyas that they have available, and even just different plants. Like literally, you talk about like plant hunting. The fact that Steve's Leaves, when you think about the diversity of plants, yes, like Costa Farms Nursery may have just quite a bit of plants in production, you know, bigger production, but the amount of diversity of plants that they have at this nursery rivals even those bigger nurseries, because Steve's Leaves, in my opinion, is a big time time big nursery. I think that they're very much well known for the quality of the plants that they have, the plants that they've introduced to the plant community. And, you know, for me, especially for somebody who is out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it is really the pride and joy of the local Dallas area, because we have a nursery that produces so many beautiful plants. Like you talk about Coleus plants. I didn't even know Steve's Leaves has Coleus plants, Coleus hybrids, Coleus selection. I mean, you can see right here, look at all these different Coleus plants. And again, as I pan up, you can see there's even more plants. So to be an employee at Steve's Leaves must be a wonderful experience. To me, walking around this nursery was very much so exciting, enjoyable, and healing. I think plants have a certain level of calming effect. So if you ever live like a very hectic, busy life like me, especially with my job, and I do apologize, plant foldies, if I haven't been able to really premiere any new content. I have just really been bogged down with work. And as far as Steve's Leaves, when I filmed this video, which was last Friday, I really wanted to make sure that I had as much content, as much plant IDs on here. I really wanted to make sure that I represented Steve Leaves the best that I can possibly do in plant videos. But that Coleus plant, Anna, that's one that I definitely want to get into my collection. And, you know, looking at the Coleus plants from Steve's Leaves has kind of reinvigorated my love for Coleus plants. I'm just curious to see how I'm going to be able to overwinter my Coleus plants, because the majority of them are growing outdoor in my backyard. They're about 3 to 4 feet tall, so I may just end up having to take cuttings and storing them and then just growing them back as an annual for next year. Variegated hibiscus, that is another variegated hibiscus that I would love to add. Look at how white the variegation is. And again, when you think about hibiscus, I think about my home country, which is the Philippines. Again, I am a proud Filipino American. Just seeing a lot of these plants, even at Steve's Leaves, I was telling Ryan, the operations manager, how a lot of these plants that we grow like weeds, literally like weeds, in a Southeast Asian country like the Philippines. It's one of those things where we talk about plant care, and how plant care is really more so how close can we get the plant to its natural environment? For me, it's kind of like when you do gardening, right? If you are able to find native plants, it's going to be less effort to actually maintain them because they're in their natural environment. But for us, like, I just kind of wish on this side of the world, in the United States, we would be able to just grow a lot of these plants outdoors. Like even this, some people will say, that Irisine rose is a common plant, or it's not a plant that's super rare, but it's got such a beautiful impact when you look at how red the leaves are. And then I think these are Ficus triangularis. Please leave in the comments if it might be something else. It is highly variegated. It's a little bit more variegated than the typical Ficus triangularis that I've seen. And I just love seeing all of these like smaller hanging baskets of string of pearls. And I believe these might be their mother plants of their begonias. Like, look at this right here. I think that might be, begonia looking glass, but all of these angel wing begonias are stunning. And for me, if you're going to ask me which begonia is easiest to take care of, it would definitely be, for me, hands down, the angel wing begonias, the cane-like begonias that grow up, that may need like stakes to really keep them up. But it's an easy plant to propagate as well and multiply. Now, all the other begonias, I kind of want to learn how that propagation process looks like. I did notice they literally had tables and tables of begonias in process. Like this one right here, I remember seeing that begonia. I'm sure that all of these begonias have a specific plant name. I just happen to not get to all of the plant IDs. So again, I do apologize for that, but this is a legit jungle, and I'm just going to keep panning over here and showing you some more plants. And you talk about pink variegated plants. I was so happy I found me a variegated purple passion plant. Look at how gorgeous this one is. Look at that variegation. And this is a plant that's actually not really hard to grow, as long as you are able to give it some pretty good humidity and make sure that you don't you water it pretty consistently. Like, it's another plant that you don't really want to just let out dry completely. It is another plant too that is easy to propagate. And I mean, when you talk about pink foliage plants. This is another one that I think that you definitely won't see that at a big box store, but that is another plant that highly recommend if you're able to purchase it at Steve's Leaves. And you can see right here, this is a begonia harmonies bat-ish. I'm not going to say it out loud, but that's such an interesting plant name for it. And then I'm going to walk over here and just show you some more of these angel wing begonias. Just the arrangement of plants, the amount of plants, again, they have at Steve's Leaves. I mean, look at all of these Hoyas right over here. Again, if you love some Hoya, Steve's Leaves has them. Pretty much Steve's Leaves has any type of plant that you can possibly imagine. They just have a very extensive amount. And just look at these angel wing begonias. Look at the undersides of the leaves. I love that red foliage around it. And then you can see that they have some more Hoyas around here. Many different hanging baskets of Hoyas. And you know, Hoyas in general, whenever you go to like a big box store, the only Hoyas you will really find are like the Hoya carnosa versions, but you don't really see all of these other Hoyas. And so for me, if you are going to be a plant collector, especially for Hoyas, you can go to Steve's Leaves website and check these out. Now, if you are a local person out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can do local pickup to where you can save money on the shipping. Although I would even say the shipping costs and their operations when it comes to that is really affordable and fair for the plants that you're going to get, especially if you're able to get a lot of these diverse plants that you don't typically see offered at a lot of nurseries. And as you can see right over here, they've got even more plants. They're showing me another Hoya right here. And I will say the staff was just really kind to me. I didn't feel awkward just kind of filming around. So really excited that, again, I was able to at least film and show you a little bit of insight for these Steve's Leaves plants, the nursery in general. I really wish I was able to pan out even more so, because the nursery is pretty massive when you're inside, but it was still very much comfortable to get into. You definitely wouldn't feel like you would be lost. The only time you would be lost is literally if you were just to go turn around, because there's so many, like turn around and not like slow down for a sec, because everywhere you go, you'll see a different type of plant. But as far as the organization, the cleanliness, the way the plants have all been super healthy, there was not a single pest around. That just gives me even more confidence to really recommend Steve's Leaves for anybody. So if you are going to like the Texas Aroid show, for instance, out in October in Houston, definitely purchase a lot of the plants that they have here. They have a lot of these plants still in production. I mean, even the Hoyas, like I definitely want to even get some hanging baskets of Hoyas from Steve's Leaves, because they have so many different varieties that I haven't really run into. I mean, you can see right here, right up, you know, in this video, like this one right here, Hoya carnosa Crimson Queen. Where do you find ones that are this highly variegated? Like, I am just shook. Normally you will see this at like a local, you know, nursery or even a big box store. I mean, these are offered by Costa Farms, you know, exotic angel hanging baskets, but not to the level of that type of variegation. Very, very impressive. And as you can see right here, they even have more Hoyas. I'm just going to keep walking around and showing you all of the plants. I am going to show some of the philodendrons, but I will not attempt to try to plant label them, because unless I'm pretty confident about what the plant ID is, I'd rather you guys just kind of look at their plant production and what plants they have available. Here is an impressive philodendron whippleway. I've never seen one in real life. You know, when you think about like a philodendron whippleway, I'm actually more so reminded of the philodendron snowdrift, which is what they call the poor man's whippleway. This is still a pricey philodendron, but I can understand why, because look at that variegation again. You know, this is another plant that still has a pretty high value for its price. As far as though philodendrons, in general, most philodendrons are super easy to take care of. I think this is a variegated green Congo. I mean, look at that variegation. That is absolutely stunning. You know, that's one of those showpiece type plants. And as I spin around here, even more Hoyas. Like they've just got Hoyas and even more Hoyas. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, let's take a look at some of the more hanging baskets of Hoyas. I mean, it just makes me want to buy a bunch of Hoyas, especially from Steve's Leaves, because of the hanging basket sizes. And check out these philodendron orange princess. So obviously this is a little bit more of a higher price value philodendron, you know, Urubescence. This one is a philodendron orange princess. It's not as readily available in the market, but you know, more people are starting to acquire that plant. For me, I'm going to hold off a little bit on trying to acquire a, you know, philodendron orange princess until the pricing goes a little bit down. But you can see they've got a massive monstera type constellation. And as I spin around, literally there is either a hanging basket of begonias, some type of massive philodendron. Like, I mean, take a look at that. I'm not 100% sure if this is a philodendron orange marmalade, but as you can see right here, that variegation is stunning. I love how that new leaf does have the orange color to it. And then you can see right here, this is a philodendron wexii. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I didn't realize that this particular philodendron doesn't like to be as wet. It likes to be on the drier side. I have the Aurea, or what you call the yellow version of that plant. And you can see Steve's Leaves has quite a bit of philodendrons or aroids as well. So I'm just going to keep showing you what they have available here. They've got some bigger plants, and then they have some smaller ones in propagation and ready to go. And then some of these, I believe, are Hoyas that are still being in propagation. You can even see that they have a couple of succulents and cactus too. So not only do they offer, you know, obviously the aroids, the begonias, all of that, they even have succulents and cactus. So I was able to see that. Not sure what this particular philodendron is, but it is stunning. So again, if you know the plant ID, plant foldies, please leave that in the comments. But I also want to know what you guys think of Steve's Leaves Nursery. I mean, this facility is so impressive, and they just have just mounds and mounds of just different types of plants. Like this is another Hoya I've never heard of, but they have it available. I'm not sure about the plant pricing, but this is the Hoya sigillatus wide form. Look at that beautiful silver foliage on that. And then they have some Sansevieria, whale fin type Sansevieria snake plants right here. They've got the non-variegated form, and then they got the variegated form. That's another plant though that I would love to add to my collection, specifically the variegated form, because it does have more of like a minimalistic look about it. Even though at this point my plant collection is starting to look like this jungle of a nursery like this. But I think the reason why I am featuring a lot of the Hoyas that they have available is because I do a lot of big box store plant shopping videos, and you already know you're not going to see a variegated Hoya carrii just at any big box store. But the amount of Hoyas they have, the amount of different types of like trailing plants they have at Steve's Leaves, it was just really impressive to see. So I'm just going to keep walking around again, plant foldies. Let me know in the comments what you think and what plants you want to buy after watching this video, because again, I'm just telling you this right off the bat. If you haven't bought from Steve's Leaves, go to Steve's Leaves website and buy one. Here is an Aglaonema pictum tricolor. So this is actually an Aglaonema that I should have bought from Wild Roots Nursery when I was at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. Now, if Steve's Leaves offers that, I will definitely purchase that Aglaonema pictum tricolor. That was another Aglaonema that was super expensive a couple years back. Now it's within a manageable price range, and that's the thing. When it comes to plants, just know that if you wait a little bit, some of that plant pricing goes down a little bit, or I would say it becomes more stable. You know, you got to think about the demand. I mean, Monstera Thai Constellation is a prime example of a plant that years back was quite expensive. Now you can actually buy it for a more reasonable, affordable price, because for me, Yes, there are some high value plants, and I can understand why, because they're either rare, uncommon, hard to propagate, or just really sought after. But I do believe that plants should be highly accessible for the general public. So, and that comes with like even the plant pricing. So I'm going to refer back to Steve's Leaves. The majority of their plants are definitely cost effective. They're fair, and you get a really good quality plant. And because if you're walking around and watching this video, for instance, I mean, just look at this. They've got so many different healthy looking plants, many different varieties. And some of these plants are definitely their mother plants, but some of these plants are also for sale. Like if you look to the left, they've got some really impressive looking variegated string of hearts. Like I would love to get that variegated string of hearts. I remember buying a variegated string of hearts from Walmart, for instance, and the variegation was okay, but it was definitely not as variegated as the one that you would see at Steve's Leaves. But let's just keep walking around, and I'm going to just keep showing you some of these plants. And let me know again in the comments section what you think of these plants. And if you made it this far into the video, number one, thank you for watching. And then number two, please make sure you are hitting the like button. That way this video will get pushed out to more plant lovers. You know, I really want more exposure for Steve's Leaves, even though I already know Steve's Leaves doesn't necessarily need the exposure. I mean, if you are a plant lover, you already know about Steve's Leaves, but at least it'll give people a glimpse of their plant facility and their nursery. Here's an interesting begonia that I've seen out in the market, but not as big as that. And then, like I said again, plant foldies. I mean, the beautiful variegated string of hearts. I kind of wish I would have slowed down a little bit to really show you how elegant and stunning they are. Actually, just a lot of these plants. Like I really wish I was able to just kind of slow down and show you. So I'm just going to show you some more of these begonias right over here. And you can see right here, plant foldies, all of those begonia propagations in progress. I've never actually seen a nursery have all of those propagations. And so just seeing that process is super exciting. And again, I'm going back to some of the begonias that they have here. These hanging begonias, like this begonia winter twilight is really cool. And I really want to know the plant ID for this particular begonia. So again, plant foldies or anybody who is an expert, leave that in the comments section with the timestamp. I would love to know. And again, I did want to say thank you again to Ryan, the operations manager, as well as my friend Jordan, who happened to just let me go around here and film and just show you the facility. I mean, look at all of those begonia propagations and just all of the plants that they have here. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. I'm pretty sure I've repeated myself multiple times about how it's absolutely stunning, but it really is. And you know, not everybody gets to be able to see this, but if you're able to at least see a plant tour, if they have those available to the public, highly recommend checking it out. I mean, because you can see right here, you talk about begonias, that's pretty much, you know, in relation to Steve's Leaves, because when I think of begonias, quality begonias, it's Steve's Leaves. You can see that right there. All those hanging baskets, and then we have all of these philodendrons. Again, plant foldies, let's all, you know, share and like this video. Let's get everybody going in terms of just being able to see the Steve's Leaves nursery. This is another, you know, nursery again that if you want a really cool looking begonia, if you want some type of variegated plant, or if you want a plant that has unique foliage that you may not necessarily see, but it's not necessarily expensive, you've got to go to Steve's Leaves website. If you're not able to actually go to like a plant show like Texas Aroid, for instance, they definitely ship all over the country. Unfortunately, I don't think they are able to ship internationally, but at least you know that this is a local plant nursery that produces all their plants in-house. Literally every single plant that I'm looking at has been propagated somehow in-house, and they continue to just propagate and multiply the plants. And I will say just their staff in general, I mean, anybody who works for Steve's Leaves, they just are plant lovers. And I think that's really what is fun about just seeing and supporting, you know, a plant nursery like this, is the fact that all of these plants, again, are grown with love. And for me, you know, some people might collect plants because of the monetary value, but I think to be able to grow a facility like this, to be able to come, you know, work at a facility like this, you really have to genuinely love plants. I wouldn't say that you have to always be an expert in the plants, but I think number one, if you have the passion just to enjoy plants in general, and really respect the plant and what the plant needs are, then anybody can really just grow plants and grow that collection. And I really hope that, you know, after watching this plant shopping video, which I'm not really necessarily shopping, but at least featuring this nursery, you'll be a little bit more inspired to maybe look at plants that you never really take a look at. Like, I haven't ever seen this plant. I don't know this plant ID, but look at that fuzzy bloom. Super cool. I would definitely check out Steve's Leaves website. This is a begonia that I ended up picking up. This is a begonia U549. So it's one of those like begonias that don't necessarily have a name, but if you were to really look at that begonia, it is literally metallic, and then it has that pink tone. And if you really zoomed in, and I wish I would have done that, is you can see that it has fine little hairs on it. I thought that was really cool. Now, as I spin around closer to the entrance of the nursery, you can see they've got, I think this is a variegated domesticanum. Yeah, that one is a mature one. And as more variegated plants or rare and uncommon plants are readily available through tissue culture, you can see that a lot of these plants, these larger foliage plants like these alocasias, have been growing at Steve's Leaves for quite a while. I mean, look at that dark foliage antherium that they have over here, and then even more variegated type philodendrons. I think that's that one, a Warzexii. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering it. And then you can see this is some type of variegated syndapsis, but with more of a Hoya yellow tone. And then you can see, I don't know if that is a philodendron painted lady, but that's beautiful. And then even more plants. So as you can see, they have a lot of these rare and uncommon plants. If you go to their website, you can bid onto some of the auctions. And sometimes if you're able to go at the right timing, you might be able to land a pretty good deal during the auctions. Now, one of my wish list plants, this is a monstera mint. You know, this is still a monstera that is quite pricey, but you know, I can understand why, because look at that beautiful variegation, and this one is a really mature form of a monstera mint. That is one of my wish list plants that I'm hoping that maybe next year I'll be able to acquire and get into my plant collection. But again, plant foldies, this is just some of the nursery I was able to kind of show you. Hopefully you are enjoying what you're seeing. I just want to walk around just a little bit more to show you some of these plants. Feel free to pause and, you know, pause this video and check out some of the plants, because again, they just had so many different plants available. It was really tough for me to just go like, you know, through each one. I mean, you can see right here, I know that this is their begonia, but look at this beautiful variegated begonia. This one is a little bit more pricey, and I can understand, but you can see they do have the numbers in production now. So if you want that specific begonia from Steve's Leaves, you can purchase that. I was able to see those variegated begonias at PlantCon 2024, but as I pan around here, you can see how large this facility is, and I really do think that my video is definitely not going to do justice when you talk about just how massive this nursery is and just the amount of plants that they have. I really try to show a lot of the hanging baskets. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the opportunity to visit this nursery again and maybe just give you even more detailed insights, because you could literally spend hours and hours filming all of the plants just because they had so many available. But you know, I am curious, plant foldies, what plants did you see today at Steve's Leaves that you'd be interested in purchasing? What you know, other insights do you have? I really want to know. I mean, if you've actually bought plants for Steve's Leaves, and if you haven't, do you intend to buy them? Because if you're going to ask me, y'all all need to buy them. Anybody who has clicked onto this video definitely needs to at least consider going to Steve's Leaves website and checking it out. But you can see a lot of these plants right here. Like this is, I think, a variegated Rojo Congo, not 100% sure. Somebody leave in the comments if that is a plant ID, but that is such an absolutely stunning philodendron. And then as I pan around here, they've got some more Monstera albos and just another sea of variegated begonias. Again, Steve's Leaves is known for its begonias. I really hoped you like looking at Steve's Leaves nursery right over here. Please hit the like button for this video. Share the link to this video with your friends. As always, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Growfolds. This is Richie. It was an honor to show you this nursery. I'll see you on the next one. Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Growfolds, and today we'll be local nursery plant touring Steve's Leaves Nursery out in Lewisville, Texas. As always, please make sure you hit the like button for this video, as well as following me on Instagram at GrowFolds. Hopefully you will also subscribe to my YouTube channel at GrowFolds for daily 1-hour plant shopping videos. I urge everybody to go shop stevesleaves.com. This is one of the most premier nurseries in the United States that pretty much ships out to every state in the United States. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I was granted access again to just film a little bit to show you some of the plants that they have available at this wonderful nursery. Now, if you are a plant lover, you already know that you most likely have ordered from Steve's Leaves, but this is just another installment where I'm going to show you a little bit more detail specifically on the begonias, because Steve's Leaves is known for its begonias, but obviously I wanted to take a little bit of time to show you what it looks like to be in the nursery, where you can see some of their mother plants and all of the plants that they have available. Again, the staff is really nice, and I wanted to say special thanks to Ryan and Kim, the operations manager, to also to Jordan, for my friend who was able to just get me here to volunteer to help them set up for the Texas Aroid show, as well as just the entire team at Steve's Leaves. They have been super kind, and you know, for me, somebody who loves just plants in general, to be able to feature their wonderful plants and just to be able to talk about some of them really just gives me a lot of excitement. And again, for those that have never seen Steve's Leaves, go to stevesleaves.com to really check out a lot of their plants. Now, the thing about this nursery is all of their plants are propagated within house. So all of the plants that you are able to buy from stevesleaves.com were grown with a lot of care, with a lot of love, with a lot of just energy around it. And you can even see right here, I don't know the plant ID for this, and I want to be cautious about some of the plants that I label because I do not want to mislabel them. But I will tell you that Steve's Leaves, they do weekly auctions as well. So if you're looking for that rare unicorn plant, I'm pretty sure you will find it at Steve's Leaves. So I'm going to pan around here. You can see that a lot of these plants are you know, orders that are getting ready to be shipped out. This one is a begonia pink minx, and this is one beautiful begonia that I've been told is actually an easy care begonia, or at least easier to take care of. Now, as far as all of the begonias, I will go into that a little bit later, but you can see right here, we've got another begonia. This is a burning bush begonia. Now, if you're curious about the plant pricing, I would recommend just going to stevesleaves.com and doing a search for these specific plant IDs. That way you can get the most accurate plant pricing. And I will say, as far as Steve's Leaves pricing, when you compare them to even local nurseries and even big box stores, you get some very cost-effective plant pricing. And on top of that, I would also say that just seeing the operation process of how they ship the plants, how they take care of the plants, how you know when you're buying a Steve's Leaves plant, you're not going to have any plant pests. The plant pricing itself is already worth the plant value. I mean, you can see right here, this is an ear seeing lime. Really like the look of this ear seeing lime. Now, the thing about it is I have the red version, and what I quickly realized with that particular plant is it is a very thirsty plant. So you have to make sure that you are on top of the watering. You don't want it to dry out completely for too long. Otherwise, it starts to droop and then just becomes unhappy. Now, over here, Steve's Leaves has quite a bit of antheriums. Ryan has been able to hybridize and cross these antheriums. And while I am still entering my antherium era, I did want to show you some of their beautiful antheriums, as well as their variegated begonias that they have over here. So I'm going to pan over here and just show you what they have available. Again, if you are interested in purchasing these plants, just definitely go to stevesleaves.com. You can see right over here, we've got a monstera mint, and this is a completely white monstera mint leaf. Actually, they have two of them, and there's not any crisping at all on it. What a beautiful specimen. And that's the thing I also love about just going to Steve's Leaves, is just the amount of plants that they have. You can literally be lost in this jungle paradise that we call Steve's Leaves Nursery. This is a another variegated spathiphyllum right here. And you know, with spathiphyllum or peace lilies, one thing I would say is they're very thirsty plants, but they are more low light tolerant. So for those that want an easy to care for plant, even the variegated version of peace lily is worth the price for it. And then over here we have another beautiful anthurium. And as far as labeling the anthuriums today, I don't want to put out a plant ID for a specific anthurium because I do not want to mislabel it. So if you see me put just anthuriums, just know that it is an anthurium because I am not an expert, and it is a little bit tedious to try to look into that. Monstera Burley Marks Flame. Now we see a lot of starter ones really making it into the market. You can see this one is a more mature one. Look at how beautiful the leaves are. Obviously, this is a plant that wants to climb, and just being able to see one of these plants at Steve's Leaves is really amazing. And then you can obviously see this Monstera Mint. That is another wish list plant of mine. So plant foldies, and for those that are new to my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. My name is Richie. Definitely see all of these different types of hanging baskets. And again, whenever you look at a nursery like Steve's Leaves, know that every single plant has been grown with love, has taken quite a bit of time to grow. And that's the thing I appreciate about shopping local and supporting local, is the fact that there is so much care put into the plants. There is a very rigorous inspection in terms of just when they ship out the plants, what plants that they have in stock, the plant pest preventatives that they take care of, and this just the overall growth of the plant. And that's the reason why I am just really thankful that I've been able to feature some of this footage, because a lot of us, especially for those that watch this channel, end up watching a lot of the big box store plants, but those big box store plants actually end up going through a process like this, being grown into a nursery. And it just so happens that Steve's Leaves Nursery, which is the pride and joy of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I would say it is one of the biggest nurseries out in the United States. Just looking at the inside of the nursery is really cool. This one right here is a variegated philodendron squamiferum. That is another unicorn plant. That is a plant that I don't think is for sale. And then you can see right here, we've got a lot of different types of antheriums. I believe this one may have been sourced out by Carnivero Plants, which is another nursery. And, you know, believe it or not, it is the plant community is a very small nursery. But my brother Aton actually went to college with Drew, who actually runs and owns Carnivero Plants. So like, I just think it's so funny and just really interesting how all of us are really intertwined in some form or fashion. Philodendron, a variegated silver sword, is another plant that I am interested in. And you can see right here, this is another beautiful anthurium. And I just love the dark foliage of the leaves. The thing about anthuriums is they do require quite a bit of humidity. But if you are able to grow them in a semi-hydroponic substrate like leca or pond, I've been growing them in pond, they have become less finicky of a plant for me. I don't have to worry about watering them so much. I just have to worry about making sure the water reservoir has some really good plant nutrients, and then obviously running a humidifier where I can keep the humidity levels between 65 to 70%. And then that is all my plant care for my anthuriums. Now this one right here, I can't really pronounce the name, but I found this really interesting because when you look at the leaves, it almost looks like a maple. And I just love the variegation of this particular plant. It also gives me like the papaya tree vibes as well, just the shape of the leaves, but it looks very beautiful. It is another plant that I would be interested in adding into my plant collection. So here is another thing I would say about Steve's Leaves. While they have a lot of anthuriums, for instance, monsteras, philodendrons, they also feature a lot of other plants that are obviously grown for the foliage that we may not necessarily see at big box stores. So for me, just even looking at some of the plants that they have at Steve's Leaves and being able to show you through this walkthrough today, I hope that you'll be able to see that they have so much selection at Steve's Leaves, which again is the reason why I would urge anybody watching this channel to go ahead and shop at stevesleaves.com. They have many different types of plants that you would never see, really just even being I guess offered at local nurseries, especially a big box store. So I find that interesting. But again, all of these anthuriums right over here, we've got many different varieties. I'm trying to get this one out, and I am being cautious about just pulling these out. The last time I did a walkthrough plant nursery tour, I really didn't want to pick up too many plants because I did not want to like break anything or mess anything up. You can see that these plants, though, these anthuriums, are definitely living their best life. Just being able to spend a little bit of time at Steve's Leaves Nursery, which is not really open to the general public, alone just makes me very thankful, and just being able to have that opportunity to just showcase the passion behind this nursery, the wonderful plants that they have, and just being able to see this live, it just really brings me a lot of joy. Now you can see right here, they have a lot of mother plants. So they've got a lot of Tradescanthia. They have some type of Marantha that I haven't seen, so I'm not sure what that plant ID is. And I'm gonna walk over here again, and you can see that we have quite a bit of different types of anthuriums. They have them labeled, but again, I just didn't want to like mislabel the plants. You know, this is one of those plant videos that I really want to be respectful to the nursery. I want to make sure that I'm representing this nursery the best way I can. And so I just want to make sure that if I do flash a plant ID, either somebody correct me or somebody let me know that's incorrect, and I can maybe fix it. This one is a Tradescanthia purple tinge. I believe this might be a mother plant right here. And with Tradescanthias, I believe they do also have some crossbreeds that they have created themselves within house. So when talking to the staff, all of their plants are really sourced out just within either through trades or just being acquired in some form or fashion where it is sustainable. And I really love that about this nursery. So they have really good best practices, sustainable resources when it comes to acquiring these plants. Now over here again, look at these antheriums. The last time I did a Steve's Leaves walkthrough, I didn't go as detailed in certain plants. So today you'll definitely see a lot of antheriums. So if you love antheriums, please continue to watch the video, and then I will go into detail about some of the begonias that they have, and then just loop back and just give you a general walkthrough to the nursery. So I'm gonna go ahead and just keep showing you some of these antheriums right over here. And as you can see right here, just being in this nursery, it's just mind-blowing the amount of beautiful, healthy looking plants. Everywhere you turn, you'll find a gorgeous plant. Like this one right here is a Tradescanthia gold stripe. This is one I haven't seen, and what's really nice is obviously the gold stripe colors, but also how it's got a fuzzy texture around its stems and also its leaves. You know, I am a fan of Tradescanthia in the sense that they're readily available. The only thing about it is they can just get a little bit leggy, so you have to be really cautious about the watering and also just being able to prune them back. Now when you do prune them back, you can make them easy cuttings to put in water, and they propagate very well. You can see this one right over here. This Tradescanthia is actually trailing. They've got so many hanging baskets of mother plants, and that's the thing about Steve's Leaves. They will continue to churn beautiful, healthy plants. Again, if you love different types of plants, make sure you do go to stevesleaves.com. You can place an order in there. They pretty much ship to any part of the United States, and even in the colder months, they do have the heat packs available, I believe, so you can get your plants safe to your doorstep. And then over here, this is another philodendron billetiae. I like this plant, and the reason why I like this plant is just the elongated leaves, and it is a fairly easy to care for plant. And then philodendron El Choco Red, sometimes I mistaken this as a varicosum. You can see that it's got some beautiful velvety texture on the leaves. And the thing about velvety texture philodendrons, you do want to have a little bit of caution in terms of just the proneness to spider mites. So higher humidity levels will repel spider mites, as well as just spraying them with an organic neem oil spray. I am a big advocate when it comes to pest preventatives being more on the organic side. And then over here, you can see that Ryan has some begonias hybrid. Ryan is a really amazing operations manager alongside with Kim. Really kind people, really down to earth people. I just love the whole facility and just this nursery as well. So I'm just going to continue to show some of the hybrids that they're currently working on, and then I'm just going to keep panning around here. This is a Tradescanthia quad color, and I love how it's got that pink, it's got purple, it's got a cream color, even just a minty green color. There's just so much going on with this particular Tradescanthia, and a lot of people might find Tradescanthias as a basic plant, but to me it is one of those plants that if you have the right conditions, you can actually make it a show-stopping piece plant. You can see over here again, this is another variegated begonia. They typically have this either as an auction plant or a plant that you can buy as is. You'll get the real picture of what plant you're buying, and I like that feature on the Steve's Leaves website, so definitely check that out. And you can see right over here, look at how gorgeous that anthurium is. And then we have a bunch of monstera albos available. As you can see right here, this nursery has a self-watering sprinkler system, so they're able to keep those plants well hydrated and well taken care of. As far as just pest preventatives, they don't have anything super invasive for the plants, so it's super safe as well being in this facility. And you know, as far as this facility is concerned, they just continue to make more plants. I feel like they never run out of plants, and you can see why, because they just have plant after plant, table after table of plants. And you can see that this particular begonia, which is still highly sought after, they've just got rows and rows of it. Same thing with this particular begonia, which I think is gorgeous because it's the variegated form. This is a begonia soli mutata variegated. It is a little bit more of a pricey plant, but I would tell you it is worth the price that they're asking for, because I mean, this is just such a unique plant. Now again, with a lot of these begonias, if you're able to give them higher humidity levels, they will tend to perform better for you. If you're going to ask me what particular begonia works best for me, it would be the angel wing begonias. And here is another part of the nursery right over here. We're just going to walk through, and I'm just going to show you all of the different types of plants that they have, specifically the begonias today, because Steve's Leaves I would dub as probably the premier begonia provider, at least one of the top tier begonia providers in the United States. You can see that they've just got so many different kinds. Like this is a begonia cuculata variegated form. That's such a gorgeous plant. I am cautious about begonias because, at least for me, the Rex begonias have been a little bit more of a challenging plant to keep alive. You know, I talk about plants being acquired into your home, what plants you would add, and I would just say find plants that fit your lifestyle. If you have more time to invest in your plants, some of the more challenging plants that require higher humidity levels, more watering, more light, you might be able to get away with just because you have more time. For me, I have been so busy just with balancing work and you know, this YouTube channel, and so some of my plants have suffered a little bit from neglect, mainly the watering part. Like I wish I could just have an indoor sprinkler system like a plant nursery like Steve's Leaves. It would just make things a lot easier. But you know, with plants, as I've said before, you know, growing plants in your space really gives you a lot of benefits. I think it makes people more dedicated. It makes people have more of a routine. And you can even see at like a nursery like this, there are routines in place as far as like plant care. You know, we have you know, I was talking to some of the staff there, and they were just letting me know that there is a process of making sure to keep the plants clean, to make sure to get rid of the dead leaves, to make sure that these plants are manicured. And there is a lot involved in terms of just growing plants to sell for the general public. And I think sometimes we don't always see that. I think we find, you know, a plant maybe at a big box store, and it's a plant that just sits there, but know that, you know, that plant came from a nursery, a growing facility like Steve's Leaves, where they have people that go through these plants day after day, every single day, just to make sure that they're super healthy, that they are presentable for the consumer. And I appreciate that, because for me, seeing that Steve's Leaves was actually preparing for the Texas Aroid show, they were making sure that the plants were clean, that they were healthy, that they were priced appropriately. And that takes a lot of time, but it also means that whoever buys plants from Steve's Leaves is going to get a healthy plant. You're going to invest in a plant that is going to be a performer. It's going to perform, it's going to grow for you. Now, obviously, each and every single plant, it's going to perform differently depending on the amount of time and effort you put into your plant care, and also the environment. You know, one thing about plants in general is plant care is really how close you can bring the plant to its natural environment. Now, I did want to show you this. This is one of their auction plants. So whenever you see that tag right there with the Z, it looks like an auction plant, variegated Syngonium batik. That is super cool. That is another rare and uncommon Syngonium. Now, again, with Syngoniums, they are pretty easy growing plants. And so as far as like the growth of a Syngonium, I am willing to pay for a decently priced Syngonium. I definitely wouldn't spend hundreds of dollars on a specific Syngonium. I've done that in the past, and for me, as Syngoniums are readily available, they're pretty fast growers. They're easily you can propagate them and multiply them. Eventually you find them for different, more cost-effective pricing. Now, like this Syngonium oregano, this is a new type of Syngonium I've seen. I really love that speckling on there. And this is another Syngonium I hope that I can buy from Steve's Leaves. That's another Syngonium I would definitely add to my collection. I've gotten the Syngonium Star Machii, and I actually ended up getting it from Wild Roots Nursery, which is another nursery that's super close to Steve's Leaves. You know, they Brian and Ryan typically do collabs in terms of crossing their antheriums, and you will see a lot of that result. Beautiful Dieffenbachia reflector right there. Now that's one of those Dieffenbachia that I would like to add to my collection, but I know that with the current condition of my environment and the amount of time I can spend on my plants, that's not something I could definitely add to my collection. Now, as far as all of the plants, like this variegated begonia snowcap, I would love to someday own this, and I would love to be able to gift this to my grandmother. She loves angel wing begonias. She is literally the expert of angel wing begonias. And for me, being able to share plants with my grandmother, just to see the sheer joy she gets from growing plants is such a satisfying feeling that I can get. It's definitely, something that really warms my heart. You know, my grandmother is one person that has really influenced me in just taking care of plants, has really inspired me. You know, for somebody that's 89 years old, she is of sound mind and body, and she attributes a lot of that to growing plants in general. Now, going back to all of these beautiful begonias at Steve's Leaves, you can see this one right here is a begonia metallica. Really like the texture of the particular begonia, and in general, begonias, depending on what kind of begonias you have, they have different humidity levels that they prefer. Philodendron Paraíso Verde, what's interesting about the philodendron is you get better variegation with more heat for that philodendron, which I think is really interesting. I'm not 100% sure what type of variegated philodendron that is, but that is absolutely stunning. And as you can see, whenever I spin the camera, you can see that they just have so many hanging baskets of mother plants, as well as trays and trays of begonia. This is a begonia pollinosis. I think that's how you pronounce it. Look at the shape of the leaf, and it's just a really nice looking begonia. And this is what we're going to see is we're going to see many varieties of begonias. You can see right here, this is begonia brevermosa. I've had one of these before. Unfortunately, this begonia is a little bit more challenging because it really does need a little bit more humidity. It is an absolute stunner though. You can see that they've got such a very distinct red pinkish color. There's two varieties. They've got more of the pinkish color, and they also have the red variety of that particular begonia. And then as I spin over here, we've got some Syngoniums. This is a Syngonium tricolor red spot. I remember about 4 years ago, that Syngonium tricolor red spot would be like $1,000 for just like a 4-inch plant of it. So again, with plant pricing, it goes up and down depending on the availability of plants. I would just say, don't chase a plant for its monetary value. I grow plants not necessarily for the monetary value. It's really the value that the plant gives me, whether it's the texture of the leaves, the color of the leaves, how easy the plant gets, the propagation potential it has. There's just a lot more to plants than growing and selling. And, you know, I think a lot of times people get engulfed into collecting plants for the monetary value, and then sometimes we forget that these beautiful plants are really just meant to be admired because of what type of joy they get. This begonia Don Miller is a hybrid by the hybridist Don Miller, who is at Steve's Leaves. I happened to meet him. Super kind man. You can really tell he's very passionate about his begonias. And as I was in the nursery, he was actually in there propagating more begonias. The begonia Don Miller is one that is iconic to me, if you're going to ask me. And I know it sounds silly, but it is one of those begonias, when you meet the actual person who hybridized it and actually made it, it's just even more exciting because then you hear the story behind the plant. And as we continue to delve into our own personal plant journey, just learning the origins of the plant, the story of the plant, I think it just adds a level of depth to the plant, more so than what most people would assume. Whenever we go to a big box store, for instance, and we find like a regular, maybe golden pothos, we don't necessarily think about where that plant originally came from, how it became the plant it is today. I mean, you can see right over here, this is a Begonia U501, so it doesn't even have like an official name. Beautiful plant. And then now we're going to be looking at some of these begonias. I believe these might be Rex begonias, but you can see this is a Venetian red. I think for begonias, the allure of begonias is just the different colors, how they look, also the shapes of the leaves, how some of them have more of a metallic shine to it, how some of them are darks, how some of them are lighter colors. And I would say Steve's Leaves, again, is one of the premier nurseries in the United States that really has some of the best begonias out there in the market. So if you're able to buy begonias from Steve's Leaves, just know, and I've seen their shipping process, the amount of care they place into their plants, just from growing them out, making sure that they're a viable size, and also how healthy they are, the inspection that they have before they ship it out to somebody who wants to order plants. I mean, it's just pretty amazing. And they only have a smaller team of people working at Steve's Leaves, but I will tell you, they have a really good camaraderie. I really do feel that it's more of a family-oriented business in terms of just the staff in general. And to me, whenever you have a team that's really cohesive, that's really all about making sure that they achieve a common goal, that makes you get a better product. And for me, I'm just really passionate about showcasing more in-depth tours about certain nurseries, certain big box stores perhaps, and even local nurseries and big small businesses out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or wherever I'm able to really see I think more plant content out there just to really see the behind the scenes thing is really cool. And that's the reason why I am really excited to be able to showcase some of the behind the scenes setup for the Texas Aroids show. It was definitely a phenomenal show. It had so many vendors. Steve's Leaves was definitely one of the premier vendors there. They had some plants, by halfway through the show, they ended up making all of their plants 50% off. So that was definitely a lot of, made a lot of people happy because they were able to acquire beautiful begonias like this begonia blueberry sherbet, for instance. Love that purple texture, and this is really cool. I love this begonia bashful bandit. I mean, just that dark foliage. Like, I love dark plants. I'm meeting people that actually pay attention to some of my nuances of what plants I like. I think it's really interesting. Somebody told me, Richie, you like neon yellow colored plants, pink plants, and dark foliage plants. Absolutely correct. And with begonias that I'm showing you, for instance, these begonias kind of tick all the boxes in terms of just the coloration of the plant. Like this right here, even the nuance of the metallic shine of these begonia. This is a begonia piece, and I'm telling you, this begonia, it's just amazing. And I can talk hours and hours about just all of the plants. Like this one right here, look at that. It looks like fire, like an explosion just happened. And each and every single begonia that Steve's Leaves offers has a really unique variety. And it's interesting because there are a lot of very loyal Steve's Leaves customers, people that will buy multiple begonias weekly. And I was able to see that shipping process, and you can really see that there are certain orders that have somebody that really is either into begonias and into philodendrons. You can see it all. Now over here is the Begonia Harmonies Raptor, and I really like the angel wing begonia. I find that they just grow a little bit more vigorously. They're easier to maintain, and they're easy to propagate. The way my grandmother propagates angel wing begonia is she just sticks them straight into soil and they will root. And then obviously we have an Epipremnum pinnatum albo. Really love the look of that. That's what happens when it is allowed to grow its natural way, which is to attach itself on a plank, a tree, or a pole. And then they've got some variegated alocasia, black stems, gorgeous alocasia. even aside from the variegation on the leaves, just that black stem gives a certain level of elegance to the plant. Same thing with this begonia Donna right over here. The dark foliage, also just the dots on the leaves are really nice. And then begonia Ireneus, I would assume that maybe this is a begonia that was hybridized by somebody named Irene. Beautiful plant as well. And you can see that the new growth comes out more of a gold color, and then it hardens into a green color. And then this is a begonia brimosa red form, and this is more of the uncommon version of the brimosa. Again, that plant is a little bit more challenging, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend somebody getting that specific begonia if you don't have the right humidity levels to invest into the plant. Now over here is a begonia Bobby Price, and I would assume that this is probably by somebody by the name of Bobby Price. So I don't know all of the specifics or the story behind each begonia, but what I can tell you is if you're watching this video and you love what you see, definitely check out stevesleaves.com. They have so many plants available. They also do live sales on Instagram. They do weekly auctions, I believe. They might be even on Palm Street. I'm not 100% sure, but just know you can get all of these begonias that I'm showing you sent to your doorstep. It's very easy. I purchased begonias and actually did local pickups before I was able to go into this nursery. And again, I'm just really thankful that I'm able to see this gorgeous nursery. Again, it's not really open to the general public, but just being able to feature what this nursery has currently available is really nice. Like this begonia U168. I would love to acquire something like that. And then the next begonia that I'm gonna find is this begonia right there, this Colmanimum. I can't really pronounce the name, but it looks like it's got more of a woody texture, and it's just an interesting looking begonia. It looks like it's more woody. You can see that the stems have more of like a pale color. I don't know how to really describe the texture of the leaf, but it definitely looks like a really interesting begonia. So I'm just gonna keep showing you more of the begonias that they have available here. Again, if you made it this far into the video, plant foldies, please make sure you're hitting the like button for this video. Would really appreciate it. It would definitely push this video out to more plant lovers. That way we can really get more awareness for stevesleaves.com. Not that they need the promotion, they are a huge nursery, but again, even from the lens of somebody like me, just being able to see the operations behind this nursery as well as seeing the quality of plants that they have, I really urge and hope that everybody does consider purchasing plants from stevesleaves.com. Even all of the begonias. Buy yourself a begonia. I mean, look at this begonia, lots of dots. It definitely has lots of dots. And this begonia Benigo, I really like that as well because the dots have that subtle pink tone to it. You can see that the leaves are a little bit more narrow. Also, just the subtle serrations on the leaves. So if you are somebody that like me who really just pays attention to the nuances of a plant, begonias could be the plant for you, and Steve's Leaves Nursery could be the nursery that can provide all of these different types of begonias. Now, I didn't get the plant ID for that. Hopefully you all are enjoying this kind of content. You know, I love doing big box store plant shopping videos, and you know, people ask me why I primarily do big box store plant shopping videos, and to answer that question, it's because big box stores are a little bit more readily available to the general public, and I feel like plants should be readily available to anybody. You don't necessarily have to be the most wealthy person to be able to enjoy plants. I think plants need to be priced in a way that everybody should have access to plants, as well as just being able to admire and enjoy all of the plants that you know you could possibly see on a website, at a nursery, at a convention, just everywhere. And like these begonias, for instance, like this begonia Lone Star Aussie, really nice. You know, I like the names of some of these begonias. I just find it interesting, and I would assume that every single begonia name has a story to tell. This one's really cool because it not only has a really cool texture to the leaves actually have just like those little spikes on it. What an interesting looking begonia. And you know, my home country, which is the Philippines, that's where my family is from originally, begonias as well as Hoyas are plants that are very much endemic and natural to the Philippine jungles. And so whenever I see begonias, it just reminds me of the Philippines. It reminds me about the beauty that a Southeast Asian country like the Philippines can really offer for the entire world. And just having these begonias, being able to go to the Western different part of the world into the United States. It's just a really fascinating thought. How all of these plants just end up making it into our households. And with Steve's leaves, you know, all of these begonias that we have right here, look at this one right here, love the undersides of the particular begonia. Steve's leaves makes it possible for all of us to be able to acquire all of these different types of begonias. Now this one I really like. This one, Begonia Tingly Mallet. Look at just the texture of the leaf, and then also just that color right over there. I would say begonia hybridization is endless, and I really want to make sure that I end up going to the DFW Begonia Society. Very strong society where they really celebrate the beauty of begonias, and I really do want to learn more about begonias. Now this begonia pink minx, I would love to be able to get this from Steve's Leaves at some point, just because that's another begonia I would love to give to my grandmother. And another reason why I am very passionate about seeing nurseries like Steve's Leaves is, you know, this is a way for me to provide access to my grandmother for those that don't really get to be out a lot, for those that aren't able to see these gorgeous nurseries. Oftentimes we aren't accessible to these types of nurseries, but just being able to share all of the beautiful plants, it really makes me happy. So I'm just going to continue to pick up a couple more begonias. Let me know in the comment section what begonias you like from Steve's Leaves, and any questions you might have. I might be able to enlighten you and maybe give you some responses, or I might be able to pass it alongside to the Steve's Leaves team. Again, they are such an amazing set of people, and I just love this nursery. So let's keep on walking around and looking at some of these plants. And plant foldies, as you can see, I picked up many different types of Rex begonias right over here. These begonias are a little bit more challenging, if you're going to ask my honest opinion, as compared to angel wing begonias. But then again, they are still pretty easy to care for plants, at least in my opinion. So either way, you can see that there are many different varieties. I would definitely check out stevesleaves.com to see if they have them in stock. Definitely put in your order and definitely support Steve's Leaves, because look at this. Like, I don't even know where to start in terms of just what I can say about these begonias. all I can say is there's so many of them, and these are all grown in-house. And just to see the propagation process that they do, and also just the routines that they have around being able to produce these plants sustainably, it's amazing. Like this one right here, love the color of this particular begonia. Again, what I would suggest though for begonias is these Rex begonias is to make sure that you do water them consistently, but to bottom water them. So instead of getting the leaves wet or getting the stems, especially the stems wet, because that could actually cause rot, definitely bottom water your Rex begonias. They can also be put in terrariums, I believe. I want to get one of those biosphere ones eventually and fill it up with a bunch of Steve Leaves begonias. I could put myself in a rabbit hole and get into begonias. I mean, at one point I was, but then I realized that, again, in order for them to be as beautiful as the begonias I'm showing you today from Steve's Leaves, there has to be a lot of care involved into it. Like these begonias don't just show up looking this beautiful without the efforts that the staff at Steve's Leaves does to take care of these plants. Like I just absolutely love it. I would dub Steve's Leaves Nursery as one of the places that you can definitely get a wide assortment of begonias, because clearly, look at this. This one right here is actually one of my favorites. This is Begonia Silver Dollar, and I remember even seeing this begonia being sourced all the way as far as Austin, Texas, in some of their local nurseries. You can see that Steve's Leaves does provide to local nurseries. At one point, they actually provided plants to big box stores like Home Depot, I believe, and even Callaway's Nursery out in the DFW area. And I hope that they'll be able to do that again, because not everybody may be as comfortable purchasing plants online, but I would love to see these plants readily available again at big box stores. I remember purchasing Steve's Leaves plants actually at Home Depot a couple years back, and they performed very well for me. And then over here again, plant foliage, you can see that every single begonia that I pick up has a really unique characteristic about it. I am curious for those that grow begonias, what begonias you like. Is there a certain particular begonia that really checks all of your boxes to add it into your plant collection? Please leave in the comments again what begonias you might be into. And as I spin around here, all of these plants, they just have plants everywhere, and this is literally where all the magic happens. You can see that they have even different types of begonia. Like this one right here is in bloom. This is some type of begonia, but look at how cute the flowers are, and they just have even more begonias right over here. Like everywhere you turn, there are just different types of plants. Like this one right here, let's take a look if it will actually focus. That's the name of it, but look at that. It's got a different leaf shape about it, and I just love the speckling of the leaves. And I am just curious to see years down the road what other hybrids Steve's Leaves will produce, because they are constantly producing new hybrids, and it's always nice to see how plants can evolve. You know, one plant that I'm really into would be aglaonemas, and with aglaonemas, or just plants in general, whenever you're hybridizing them, it does take a bit of a process to do it, because you don't always get a guaranteed new plant. You have to cull through many different types of plants for them to really become something that you would want to put out in the market. And I kind of learned that talking to other plant nurseries and just anybody who's really passionate about hybridization. I mean, like this one right here, another interesting begonia. So for those that are watching this walkthrough of some of Steve's Leaves begonias, let me know in the comments again what begonias you're into. Like this one right here is definitely a very silver plant. I love that metallic look about it. And if you notice, Steve's Leaves has a really good uniformity of the plant sizes that they have. I'll tell you, even based on some of the reviews I've read from many happy customers, it's really the care in the packaging. And I actually saw that process whenever I visit Steve's Leaves begonia. And again, I'm really thankful that Steve's Leaves staff, the operation managers, have just been kind enough to just let me have this experience of being able to see all of the beautiful plants up close and personal. You know, it's always been a dream of mine to be able to like tour Steve's Leaves when I first started buying plants years back, and just to be able to pick up the plants and now showcase them to anybody that hasn't even heard of Steve's Leaves, hoping that this content will continue to grow the business, but even more so continues to get people inspired, to get everybody excited about being able to grow begonias. Look at this, like this one right here has that like cosmic look about it. Just the speckles of the leaves, it looks like an explosion. It looks like it's glowing, and it's just kind of out of this world. Some of the begonias that you would see looks very extraterrestrial in my opinion. And even something as simple as this, look at the color of this. Love the neon color, but I even love that its border is a red color. Very nice looking begonia. And as you really delve into some of these begonias, you can see all of the nuances. Like look at this one. Look at how stunning that pattern is. And this one is U038. So this is another one of those begonias that doesn't even have an official name, but it's one that I definitely find very interesting. Like as far as begonias, you got to catch them all. It's like Pokemon. You want to just collect them all. I haven't gotten into my begonia era, and it's only because I know that I wouldn't be able to keep them as beautiful as Steve's Leaves because of the amount of time I would have to invest in growing begonias. Now this one right here has actually been a begonia that has made it into the market a little bit more readily available. This used to be more of an uncommon begonia. It does look like pine needles. It's just got a really interesting look. And then over here is a Monstera celtipicana El Salvador. So the El Salvador version is a little bit larger than the regular Monstera celtipicana, and you can see here they've got some variegated Monstera adansonii. This one has kind of really grown out. I think this is the mint version. And you know, Monstera adansonii, I haven't grown them long term as well. For some reason the plant doesn't always perform well for me. I do have a variegated variegated Monstera tricolor Japanese form. And then over here you can see that this is another plant, and I'm just going to keep picking up plants and showing you what plants they have available at Steve's Leaves, and try to show you the plant ID as well. So if you are interested in purchasing the plant, you can actually go to stevesleaves.com, do a search in their search engine, and you should be able to find the plant, and they will also provide care tips for the plant that you're getting. And I think that's really important for anybody that is wanting to add plants to their collection. Definitely do your research first on the plant that you want to add to your collection. That way you have a general idea. Also, Google the natural habitat of the plant. It'll give you a better idea of what the environment needs to look like for the plant when you bring them indoors into your home. And you can see right here, alongside with begonias, Steve's Leaves has so many Hoyas. So for all of the Hoya lovers, here you go. I'm just going to keep walking around and pulling up some Hoyas here. You let me know in the comment section what Hoyas you like. If you bought from Steve's Leaves, I really just want to know a lot more insights about the Steve's Leaves plant. So let me know what you think. Plant foliage, you can see that they just have so many plants, and I've repeated myself multiple times, but it really is, it's true. Like, I mean, you can see in the video, like all of the different types of plants they have, and just the massive army of Monstera albos. Like they just have albos just growing like literally a jungle. Same thing with all of their Hoyas right over here. So for the Hoya lovers, for those that want to go acquire more Hoyas, like I said again, if you want to order plants from stevesleaves.com, they are readily available. Their process is really easy to be able to order plants, and just know that the plants that you're going to receive are going to be healthy, quality plants. Now this one right here is really interesting. This is another type of Pilea, but look at how tiny that is. Now with Pilea plants, I do want to collect this. This is one that I actually want to acquire at some point, just because I like that metallic dark foliage. Pilea plants definitely like more humidity. They also like yeah, more humidity. I do think that if you're gonna grow palea plants, maybe even converting them into a semi-hydroponic substrate like leca would really work, or pon, definitely pon. And that's another thing that I've been doing as far as like making my plants easier for me in terms of plant care, is actually converting them to semi-hydroponic substrate called leca and pon. I kind of mix both of them together, and even the plants that I received from Steve's Leaves when I first did a nursery tour, super thankful to Ryan and Kim again for just being able to get some of these plants. It definitely made my wedding anniversary super exciting, just because, you know, who wouldn't want to celebrate something like that by being able to go to Steve's Leaves and to be able to acquire some plants. Look at this right here. Look at that variegated plant. And again, as you see, they have different plants that you normally wouldn't even see at a big box store or even a local nursery. The diversity of plants that they have, the different types of plants Steve's Leaves has, I can't tell you. Everywhere you just turn, they have something variegated, they've got something textured, they've got something unique, they've just got everything. And you know, it's really silly of me to keep going on and on about it, but just how excited I don't know if you can tell as I do this voiceover and just really reliving my experience at Steve's Leaves, how exciting it is to be able to be at this nursery. I mean, look at that. That is such a cool looking plant. Like, that plant would make a perfect terrarium plant. I mean, you could just like have a ball right there, and there you go. You've got a really cool little plant right there. I would assume that that plant would really prefer more humidity. And then you can see right here, look at that. That's another type of leaf that most people wouldn't see as just like a house plant. But you know, aside from the typical philodendrons that we see, I love the fact that Steve's Leaves not only offers plants outside of the Aroid genus or just Aroids in general, they even have like variegated oregano, and you can see that that's super cool right there. Really like the white edges of the leaves, and it's another plant that most people wouldn't think to grow as a house plant, but you know, you can. And Steve's Leaves definitely proves that. And you can see they've got even euphorbias, succulents, and cactus. So even though they have a lot of begonias, and I featured a lot of begonias, you can see that they've got a senecio right here. Love that gray foliage, as well as the texture, that fuzzy texture on the leaves. Really nice looking plant. And then I'm going to spin around here. I love this plant, and I was able to get this plant for Steve's Leaves. This is the stainless steel plant. Look at that foliage. It almost reminds me of a gray type monochromatic croton, but it is not. And then you can see they have more plants like this over here. Let me know in the comment section if you've ever seen the plants that I've featured before watching the Steve's Leaves video. And I mean, you can see here they have all of these cute little hanging baskets. This one is a string of pearls, and you know, if you're thinking of like string of anything, string of pearls is really a classic you know, plant to grow. And then you can see right here, this is another euphorbia. Look at the variegation on the leaves as well as the blooms. And I'm just going to continue to show you some more of the succulents and cactus and euphorbia that they have available at Steve's Leaves. So let me know in the comments again what you think of these plants. Plant foldies, take a look at this variegated string of hearts, high variegation on string of hearts. Love that as well. And you know, I probably just need to get a variegated string of hearts from Steve's Leaves as well. And then you can see right over here, I actually have this euphorbia white ghost, super cool looking euphorbia, and it's one that I never really wanted to add to my collection. I wasn't really seeking it, but I was able to acquire it from one of my friends, and it's really performing well for me. And then when you spin around here, look at this. Look at this jungle. Like, if you just walk through it, you feel like you're in a jungle full of monstera albos. And then we also have some type of philodendron right here, and we're just gonna walk through, and you just let me know how you would feel if you were just walking through this jungle. And in plant foliage, you can see right over here, we have the antheriums, and Steve's Leaves has so many antheriums, so many hybrids. Some of these are their mother plants. And so I just wanted to pan over here. Unfortunately, I am definitely not an expert of antheriums. I hate to just put a general label for these, but you know, all of these are gorgeous antheriums. A lot of people are really into antheriums. I just am recently discovering this whole new world of antheriums, and I have slowly gotten deeper into the rabbit hole of antheriums. You know, I have about 5 antheriums now, and I'm hoping to acquire more. And the thing about with antheriums is some people will say they're finicky plants. My solution for growing antheriums is really just changing the substrate I grow them in. Instead of trying to grow them in a chunky aroid mix, I have moved them to semi-hydroponics. So I grow all of my antherium in lechuza pon or leca, but mostly lechuza pon, and they have been performing very well for me. So once I've transferred them over into a substrate like lechuza pon, and then actually growing them in my plant room where the humidity levels stay about 65 to 70%, it has just made being able to care for these plants a lot easier. And I'm just gonna stop talking for a minute and just let you enjoy all of the beautiful antheriums at Steve's Leaves Nursery. I believe these are mostly their mother plants. You can see that these are plants that they take pollen, hybridize, and grow plants from seed. And this anthurium we're about to look at is called the Anthurium Prince of Darkness. Look at how beautiful this particular anthurium is. I wish I could get something that looks like that into my anthurium collection someday, as well as this particular anthurium. This one is a beautiful hybrid as well, and you can see right there, this is called Anthurium Amelia's Delight. Such a gorgeous anthurium, and you can see we have even more dark foliage anthuriums. Really love that. And you know, these are maintained and grown by Ryan, the operations manager, and you could just see right over here, look at this one. This one has a really nice texture to it. Now, for those that are very much into anthuriums, can you leave in the comment section anthurium basic care tips, what you would suggest for anybody that is wanting to grow anthuriums? Because anybody that's watching the Steve's Leaves video, again, I'm going to plug this in. Go to stevesleaves.com. Definitely check out their anthurium selection. They have a wide variety of anthuriums, and they're priced very well as well. You know, some anthuriums can be really pricey, but even looking and comparing some of the Steve's Leaves prices as compared to some other sellers, they really have some cost-effective plants, and even the anthuriums are very much so cost-effective. So we're going to continue to walk around here. I really just wanted to focus more so on the begonias today, but since I'm already at the nursery, I did just want to show you again a walkthrough of this beautiful nursery. You can see that they have just so many hanging baskets over here of begonias. This begonia is in full bloom, just so many blooms, and look at all of these anthuriums again. So there's just a plethora of plants. Everywhere you turn, you will find something interesting. I would say the best description of Steve's Leaves Nursery just being here is tranquil. I mean, look at this. This is another Palea I would love to be able to get someday. I remember buying a starter one from Etsy, but for some reason, it just didn't do well for me. But look at how beautiful that aluminum plant is. This Palea aluminum variegated version. This one is super high variegated, really stunning plant. And you can see that they just have more plants as I pan around. So we're just gonna walk through here and just really enjoy the scene. So I'm gonna stop commenting for a sec, and again, just let me know what you think of the plants in the comment section. Share this video so we can get more people to see how gorgeous this nursery is. That is called Steve's Leaves. It is the pride and joy of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Definitely happy that I am only within 20 minutes from where I'm based at to get to this nursery. And again, I am a supporter, somebody that's going to advocate for this nursery because of these plants. So let's keep looking at all of the plants that they have right over here.
You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me crying over you. You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me crying over you. And I'm thinking about you.
And for those that really haven't ever seen Steve's Leaves Nursery, this is really just a glimpse of what the nursery looks like. I mean, all of these variegated string of hearts, just really beautiful. It's just very much light enlightening. And just seeing that they have that process, this is their propagations here that are just getting ready to keep growing until they're ready to actually be sold. But as you can see right here, they have a full process and all of the plants are super healthy. Again, it takes a lot of work to be able to grow and maintain a nursery as massive as this. But even with the very small staff that they have, they're very close knit, and you can clearly see that they work as a team. It's a very laid back environment, and you can even just tell how happy the plants are. Now, this area right here, I did want to show again, is another area where they have a lot of their mother plants of their begonias, and also all of their philodendrons are right over here. Same thing with all of their hanging baskets of Hoyas. I mean, they just have Hoyas after Hoyas after Hoyas. So we're just gonna walk through here, and I'm just gonna pan around and show you all of the different plants that they have in this third section of the nursery at Steve's Leaves. Let me know in the comments again what plants you like, what plants you intend to buy from Steve's Leaves. I'm hoping that we can really get everybody excited, because as I went through this nursery, look at the most beautiful philodendron orange princess I have ever seen, and look at how large the leaves are. So this philodendron has become a little bit more accessible. I wouldn't say it's common, but that half moon leaf for that philodendron orange princess is to die for. And I mean, it's just beautiful. Let me know in the comments if you disagree or agree, but that is such a gorgeous philodendron orange princess, and all of the other plants right here. Like, for me, just being able to sit around and walk around and just kind of soak in all of Steve's Leaves plants is just, it's just mind-blowing. And I could talk to you again for hours and hours, but you can see that the plants itself speak to you. I mean, just how gorgeous it is. It literally is a jungle. It's a jungle where you can find that right plant for you. And what's exciting is, as I feature this nursery of Steve's Leaves, you know that you can go to stevesleaves.com and actually purchase plants, the plants that you're seeing. So that's always going to be an option. And as I continue to feature more small businesses, big box stores, and local nurseries, I think the plant folding community is going to continue to grow, and we're going to be able to see other plants that we would never have really thought to buy until we actually saw it on content. So for me, even filming Steve's Leaves nursery, there was just a lot of plants that I had to take a second glance at. I was exposed to, I've never seen, and at least for me, being able to get this is also being able to show my grandmother, because my grandmother lives out in North Houston, and she doesn't really travel much, so she really relies on a lot of my plant content to be able to see all of these gorgeous plants. And she did say she wanted to see Steve's Leaves, and here's this video is also dedicated to my grandmother. And if you've seen some of the shorts videos I have, you'll see her also in the Texas Aroid videos. She actually made it to the Texas Aroid show, which was really fun, because every person that she ran into was so kind. Some people actually recognized her. They actually wanted to take pictures with her, so that was really cool. Variegated purple passion plant. That's another plant that I really love from Steve's Leaves, because you often don't see that. And then here are all the angel wing begonia mother plants that I think Don Miller at the day I actually filmed this was actually taking some cuttings to propagate. So we're gonna just walk around here and we can take a look at some of these begonias.
Something to learn from you, baby. Oh, been so long. Why you keeping me waiting? Why you keeping me waiting? All I want to learn from you, been so long. To learn, all I want to learn from you, waiting. All I want to learn from you, been so long. To learn, all I want to learn from you.
I really hope that that this nursery walkthrough of Steve's Leaves gets everybody excited, gets everybody wanting to buy plants from Steve's Leaves. I know that there are a lot of plants that I want to definitely acquire from Steve's Leaves soon. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Again, it was a pleasure to be able to walk again through Steve's Leaves and showcase these plants. As always, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Growfold for daily plant content. I will definitely see you with a brand new video tomorrow. Bye.